Plasma Pulse Finale is, in some ways, a relic of an older era of Geometry Dash creating. Built by Giron and Smokes, also known as ZeoStar, two legendary creators from 2.0, and released in October of 2017, Plasma Pulse Finale is approaching its 5th anniversary, and I think it's one of few levels that has truly stood the test of time. For the sake of this video, I'll be referring to ZeoStar as Smokes, as it is how he appears in the level. To most, Giron and Smokes are most well known for their association with the Plasma Pulse series. The levels Plasma Pulse 2, and Plasma Pulse 3 had garnered a significant amount of attention towards the end of 2.0, and Plasma Pulse 3 in particular was considered extremely difficult at the time, a very impressive achievement for Smokes that garnered the level a fair amount of attention. To provide a fitting conclusion for the series, the task was left to Plasma Pulse Finale. The series definitely had a visible theme throughout. Plasma Pulse was released in 1.9, and was a fairly standard design and gameplay-based level at the time. Plasma Pulse 2 was released in early 2.0, and was a fairly standard design and gameplay-based level at the time. Plasma Pulse 3 was released later in 2.0 and was a fairly standard design and gameplay-based level at the time. You get the picture. In retrospect, I actually quite like all three levels, and all of them show Giron and Smoke's strong suits in decoration. Simple yet effective use of flashes and other effects, clean designs, and solid colors. From this, you could expect the rough direction Plasma Pulse Finale was taken in, and I will say that it does not disappoint. From the beginning, it is clear Plasma Pulse Finale was started in 2.0 and finished later in 2.1. A lot of parts of the beginning resemble fully fleshed out 2.0 parts with some 2.1 elements added in, excluding the spider duel. And like all of the previous Plasma Pulse levels, this level highlights the strengths that both Giron and Smokes display in their style of decoration. Almost every part has some form of very recognizable layout, a consistent blue or purple color scheme with some well-timed, pretty flashes of other colors, clean designs reminiscent of many other levels from late 2.0, and well-synced, fast-paced gameplay set to an old Boom Kitty song. While on a surface level, this definitely sounds like nowadays it would be quote tweeted on Twitter with that Buzz Lightyear gif. I think Giron and Smokes really made it work with this level. Every single part feels very well made. Every damn one. Which is a big achievement considering this level is almost 5 years old and is over 2 minutes long. I can't pick out anything in this level that really feels out of place. The designs, backgrounds, air deco, and effects all work quite well together and let the level be simple but never boring or underdecorated. This is one of my biggest appreciation points in older design levels from creators like Codex, Woogie, and Motu, and it absolutely is on full display in Plasma Pulse Finale. The designs are consistently clean throughout, utilizing pretty much every object in the designs in a way that feels like the creator put thought into its placement to create parts that look good, and differ from each other but still flow together nicely. In addition, things like glow, lines, pinwheels, and whatever you call these things with the squares come up consistently as miscellaneous air decoration, and while I feel like a lot of the time these are used to fill space meaninglessly, I can't really fault the creators for doing that, and it does help to accentuate the designs of the level and help it feel less empty, which is nice. And because of this, I can't really say I dislike it. One of my favorite parts of the level as a whole is the slow part, where the music slows to a menacing drone, the gameplay becomes heavily timing based, and the decoration becomes a bit simpler. This is easily my favorite part of the level. Everything about it, combined with its placement over halfway through the level, makes it feel incredibly punishing and stressful, and it works so damn well with the song. My favorite part is this section with all the black blocks and pulsing white lines. The effect is so simple, but it does such a good job at carrying the energy of the song, pulsing to the percussion while making the player focus intently on where the spikes even are just to stay alive, which ties back into what I said at the beginning of the review of the strengths of the previous Plasma Pulse levels. The use of simple yet well done effects continues to be present here, but in Plasma Pulse Finale this is done better than any other level in the series, in my opinion. The pulses in the wave part after this are also the prettiest in the entire level. The combination of predominantly purple deco with the yellow and blue pulses for some elements looks really nice and provides great visual contrast in the part to keep it from feeling completely monotone. The level ends with a faster section, and the only one that heavily favors a warm color for its color scheme, which is a nice change from the rest of the level. It doesn't feel all that out of place either, as the colors slowly fade into it over the course of a full part, and because of this it serves as a great ending to the level with the clean decoration and heavily timing-based gameplay. One thing I haven't mentioned that I feel like is used very well throughout this level is repetition. The best example of this is this effect where the level structures will fade in and move to their final position as the player gets near. This effect is so simple, but I think it's really neat how it's reused throughout most parts to provide just a little bit of dynamics to the visuals, but it's not used so constantly as to feel copy-paste, it's just a nice visual element. Another thing is these little black blocks that are placed on the corners of some structures in a couple parts, and this is another example of the same element being reused in a different way. Because all the parts it's used in have different base deco, the black blocks end up doing something slightly different to the appearance of the deco in each part, and while I'm fairly sure this was unintentional by the creators, it's still something I'd like to point out as a little thing that brings up my enjoyment of the level as a whole. Speaking of gameplay, well, I can't really provide the most accurate opinion on this as my hardest is a legacy-less demon. As such, I don't have the skill to realistically get decent progress on Plasma Pulse Finale. However, from playing the level in practice, I can say that it is actually very fun. It's synced well, but not, quote, click sync, where you have to actually pay attention rather than relying constantly on audio cues, which keeps the gameplay feeling refreshing. The level uses every single game mode, including Swing Copter, which is impressive for its time and provides a solid variety for the player to master. My biggest complaint with the gameplay is its balancing. The second half is so much harder than the first half. I can see this level being extremely annoying because of that, but then at the same time, most victors I've spoken to haven't thought it was all that bad, so take that with a bit of a grain of salt. Continuing forth with the trend of things I don't like as much about this level, the song just sucks. While the level does make the most of the song, I just straight up do not like this song. It's very repetitive and relies largely on the same grating electronic lead for like 70% of the level, making it a bit of a chore to listen to on repeat. And I don't even think it sounds very good. Take a listen. In addition, there are some parts where I feel like the creators just got lazy with decorating, like this second part of the level where they literally plastered some 2.1 elements onto a 2.0 part to increase the difficulty and fill space. This little pinwheel of 2.1 objects comes up again later in the level, and I have the same complaint with it. In addition, there's this part where the combination of black glow, waterfall blocks, and a pinwheel background really just does not look very good, especially because everything blends together into one mess, and it feels like a significant step down in quality from almost every single part after it. However, as a whole, I didn't find these complaints really brought down my enjoyment of the level much, and the high highs definitely outweigh the low lows by a lot, especially for its time. I think this level is a great showcase of these creators' skill and decoration even as early 2.1, almost 5 years ago. With all that being said, here's a showcase of the full level. All in all, Plasma Pulse Finale is my favorite level of the Plasma Pulse series by far, capitalizing on all of the good elements of the previous levels and elevating them into a level that I would consider to be one of the best of its era, and one that holds up well even almost 5 years later. I hope you enjoyed this review, and that some of the things I said made you enjoy this level in a new light.